Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm talking about natal Venus opposite to Pluto. So if you were born with your natal Venus and Pluto in opposition aspect. So I've already done a video for Venus square Pluto, and pretty much all of that will apply, but there are some major differences. And one of the major differences with the opposition aspect is that it's a lot more likely that this person experiences the plutonic energy from other people. So it's very common with Venus opposite to Pluto to be attracted to people who are very plutonic. Maybe they have a lot of Pluto aspects in their own natal chart, or they have a lot of Scorpio, or as far as characteristics, they could be very dominant, very powerful, um, even manipulative at times, and they definitely can exert some sort of powerful influence over the person with this natal aspect. So, relationships do not come easy. They come with major drama. I feel like I'm going to title this video Relationship Drama because that is basically the story here with natal Venus opposite to Pluto, is that the love life contains extreme highs and extreme lows. And the problem with the opposition aspect is that a lot of this is very unconscious to the person with this aspect. They are guilty of projecting the plutonic energy onto the partner. So, they could even project Venus and be more like Pluto. It's very interesting because they have a hard time balancing the two energies. So, on the one hand, they might have phases where in a relationship, they're actually the very dominant one, they're the plutonic one, they're controlling the partner. And then they'll have other relationships or even other phases of the same relationship where they're totally being controlled, and they're losing their power in the relationship. They can have codependent relationships as well, relationships that feel impossible to break. They're prone to having plutonic relationships in general, like with the synastry or the composite chart, they enter into relationships with a very strong Pluto component to them. And it's just definitely a very heated place when we have Venus opposite to Pluto. Relationships are not like a soft and easy thing. Relationships are a brutal awakening of insecurity and jealousy and obsession and control and power dynamics. And you could even see this aspect, I've seen it many times. They get involved with someone who is even like a criminal or like a psychopath, and that's when Pluto's being projected as well. So it's definitely like their relationships and their love life, a movie could be made out of it for sure. Like, and it does, it's interesting. Like, movies, to make movies interesting, they have to have the drama, right? And the Venus Pluto person is all too familiar with their love life being like a drama. So the difference with this aspect in the square or even the inconjunct is that the plutonic energy is manifested much more outwardly. So it's more rare to see this person actually single for long periods. You could see it, and that would probably be good because then they can do some sort of reflective work on why they attract this. But it's more likely that they're in a relationship all the time, or very much focused on it, and it does feel like they don't feel complete without a relationship when we have Venus opposite to Pluto. So, another thing about people with this opposition is that their self worth can fluctuate a lot. Where sometimes, when they're feeling really good about their Venus and their Pluto, and they're like having this moment of like, integration. They can feel really good about themselves, almost even in some cases bordering on like a little bit of like narcissism themselves in some cases, and then it'll fluctuate to like the opposite. So as much as there's high highs and low lows with love life, there's also self-worth highs, or even like going from like body dysmorphia and like hating the way you look so much to like feeling like you're the hottest person ever, and like, you know, it, so they can fluctuate like that. You could also see with Venus Pluto in aspect like this, like addictions to um like plastic surgery, or you know, shopping, or anything to do with like the appearance, and you know, changing the body to be more attractive, to be more sexually attractive. We could see this bordering on an obsession, probably more for women than men with this aspect. Men with this aspect are more likely to project it totally onto the woman. So the women they attract are very intense, very Scorpio, very controlling or powerful, or even toxic in some ways. Um, but still, too, with men and women, the way that they love is very much the same. It's like all or nothing, very intense, very life consuming, transformative, codependent, and sometimes the people that they fall in love with are like the bad boy, or the criminal, or the psychopath, or the narcissist, or the person that they're with could end up being the one that has all the drama, and they could feel like, oh, you know, if I could just get rid of this person that has all this drama, um, then I wouldn't have all this drama. And then they go to their next relationship and it's the same thing. So people with this aspect, you know, would really do well to realize that um, their self worth, there's something shaky here. Like they need to realize that their self worth is internal, and Pluto's voice can be always like asking them to uproot or destroy, or like it can be like a compulsive need to um change the physical body, or change the self, or feeling like they're not good enough, or feeling like they don't have enough money. This opposition too can show huge fluctuations in finances, having lots, having nothing, and a lot of self-worth issues to do with being on either side. So these people really would do well. I think I talked about a meditation, or I talked about something to do with a meditation on my Venus square Pluto video. Now I don't even remember, but I feel like for Venus opposite to Pluto, it's almost like they need to ground in their self worth from within and recognize that that's not coming from anywhere outside of you. And also, pleasure that can come from within too. These people with a Venus Pluto aspect, but especially the opposition, they need to work on their lust energy. There's a lot of lust and like desire, which can be very healthy. I'm going to talk about the positive things of this aspect too, because I actually feel like the opposition is probably easier to manage than the square. So we'll talk about the good things too, but there is still that lust. There is a very high sexual energy. There's a very natural sexual energy too, where even though this is a hard aspect, they actually can be quite confident sexually, or at least sometimes it'll be like the fluctuating thing, where sometimes they feel like they're the sex god or goddess, and other times they're, you know, not so great or not so confident. But usually with a Venus Pluto aspect, they actually, it's like they've had lifetimes indulging in sensuality, in sex, in intense relationships, and they're very comfortable in that regard. And it can be something that they feel they need compulsively. So this could show up in the chart of someone who does have sex addiction, or even just relationship addiction in general, but they do tend to be highly sexual, and they can even use their sexuality to gain resources. So like in the, the most obvious sense, that's like a prostitute, right? Being a prostitute, sex work, right? That is a potential, right? And there's no judgment here on any of these chosen professions, but there is a chance of that. Or even if they don't directly do it as work in their relationships, they can end up having that kind of energy, and men could end up being with women who have that kind of energy. And there's like a feeling of being used, or a feeling of selling their body or selling their heart, their love. There's something very financially tied with love and sex with a Venus Pluto opposition. So the remedy, or my advice, is to recognize, like I said, the self-worth needs to come from within. Pleasure, sexuality, sensuality, all of these energies they can cultivate from within. They don't need a partner for that. They don't need a partner to express that. And if they can become okay in their own energy and actually enjoying their own energy, actually feeling beautiful, feeling in love, feeling sensual, feeling sexual, feeling creative, all of these energies, which they have such a high creative energy with this opposition, and such a lover energy, such a zest for life and love, if they can activate all that within and activate a feeling of self-worth from within, then when they enter into relationships, it won't be all the drama. It doesn't have to be so codependent or needy. They can see things more rationally when they're not having that need for a relationship, because they filled up their own cup. They've activated these energies from within, that they don't need to like compulsively seek it from others. And that's when the real beauty of this aspect can show up. So Venus Pluto in opposition is actually like a natural thing, because Venus naturally rules Taurus, Pluto naturally rules Scorpio. So they do actually have a gift for love, a gift for finances, a gift for being sexy and powerful and charismatic and very attractive to people, and very much alluring in their energy field. So when they can learn to use this in like a non-toxic way, because they've, in previous lifetimes or even in this lifetime, they've used it maybe because they don't have a feeling of self-worth, or because they don't have a feeling of stability or security, or they don't feel their own beauty, so they need to have it from others. When they can heal the root of that issue, they can actually just see it for the gift that it is, and they have the power to manifest anything. Pluto can be manifestation power. Pluto can be working for them rather than working against them. These people can be the transformers of themselves and others. These people are the true therapists, healers. They can really help people heal their own issues, because they've gone through it. They have gone through lifetimes of relationship issues and self-worth issues and financial issues. So once they really come up on top, they are the masters, they are the teachers, they are the healers, they are like the powerful transformers. You definitely have a gift for healing and helping others. And that's the other thing with the opposition, is that it does work on other people. It's the most like relational energy. So yeah, these people can be amazing at all those types of work, or they might even end up in a type of sex work, but in a way that is not degrading to them, in a way that they really enjoy, like something, maybe they help other people activate confidence in their sexuality or something like that. And they really do. This is like the Venus square Pluto aspect, all Venus Pluto aspects. They have a potential for a deep, profound soulmate relationship, maybe even more than one. And it is destined for them, it is meant for them, but they just have to do a little bit of self work first. They have to do a little bit of heart healing, maybe even past life healing, get to the root of this Venus Pluto issue. But then once they do that, it's like they're destined for magic. People with Venus Pluto aspects in natal are meant for these true soulmate connections that are like, I don't believe in twin flames, but like if you do, it's like that kind of thing, right? And they're really meant for that level of depth, intimacy, passion, sexuality, sensuality, like, yeah, a true soulmate bond. And they're meant for that. And their whole life, they're seeking that. And that's why they get into all of these different relationships, but when they stop the search and they find that wholeness within, that's when they'll get it. And then their energy is like a medicine for all. They have a very powerful energy, and yeah, a very healing energy. That's why people are so attracted to them. It's a healing energy that they have. So yeah, lots there, lots I've said. High creative energy, high, yeah, charisma, beauty, attractive power these people have. And, once they realize that, and, they actually could do well to focus a bit on themselves for a bit and like activate that personal power. And then from that, the relationships that they attract will be on such a higher frequency, such a higher level. So, yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this natal aspect. If you have it in your natal chart, or you're with someone, someone who has this, let me know in the comments, you guys, your experience of this aspect. And thank you so much for your requests. Keep those requests coming in the comments, and we'll talk soon. Okay. Love you guys so much. Bye.